Hi, I'm Austin Ernst.
I'm Alec Bobko.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jordan Deep.
My name is Summer Josh.
I'm Matt, and welcome to The Grind,
A podcast all about content creation.
Each episode, we bring in a guest and have a conversation with them about how they got into content creation,
their favorite content to create,
and the hardships of content creation.
Our hope as Waypoint is for this to be a central pillar of our content.
We want content creators to grow alongside this show. We want them to learn.
That's why this isn't just a typical interview show.
We want to learn what makes other content creators tick,
what programs they use to create their content.
And we want to bring awareness to some of the content creators we love.
So without further ado, we at Waypoint present to you The Grind.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Grind, a podcast here on Waypoint on YouTube.com about content creators talking to content creators. My name is Chris, a.k.a. RibblePack92, joined by my co-host, Albob875.
Heyo!
And then today, I am very honored to announce that we have the one, the only, the gaming legend, Asa Greenriver.
Yeah, can this just be a trend that continues? Listen, if you're out there, you want me on your podcast, I have one stipulation. You call me the gaming legend and I'm there.
Perfect. That's all it takes, man. He don't want no money.
Nope,
He
no,
don't-
nothing.
He don't want nothing
I just
else.
want
call
my
him the
myth
gaming
to
legend.
live on.
We will remember your name.
The gaming legend.
Asa, dude, how are you doing today, man? Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, listen, you said it like perfectly before we started recording. It's been a week and it's Monday, so. But it's
So
a
true.
holiday week, so I've got time off at the end, have some family time. I'm really excited, but no, I'm good. It's been a busy time, but I'm thankful for every step of the way.
Hell yeah, man. That feels like the whole vibe of 2020, really. Like everything's terrible, but there's good stuff coming, I think.
Yeah, there definitely is. There definitely
Yeah.
is.
It's awesome. So, why we got you here, Asa? Just to kind of start things off for people that might not know you. Are you able to kind of give us a little pitch on yourself, what you do?
Yeah, I'll try to do the elevator pitch. You think I'd be good at it, but I'm so bad. So my name's Asa. I'm a content creator here in Columbus, Ohio. Represent. I do all different kinds of things. I feel like that in 2020, it's just like the common stipulation, but I stream, I do content on YouTube, I do audio podcasts, the whole gamut. But then the other side of the business is we do a marketing and PR for indie devs and video game adjacent companies.
Very
And
cool.
I feel like I should have said what the company is, but it's called Borderline Entertainment. Dude, that's the kind of day that it is.
You're not wrong,
Talking
man.
about what I do, I don't even say what it is. It's Borderline Entertainment. That's the thing.
There it is.
So,
Oh man.
quick going off of that, just to kind of start off some questions. Why for Borderline Entertainment? Why start off as a business instead of just a channel or a kind of network thing?
So it was a channel first. So I actually started in like 2016 and started doing a show called Game Chat. It was more like have you ever seen like Good Mythical Morning, Brett and Link?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
A
talking
little
about?
bit, yeah.
It was supposed to be like the gaming version of that.
Okay.
And then ended up being a little bit more news oriented. And so I started off with 3 other guys. I understand life happens, jobs, just life itself gets in the way. And so they ended up dropping off pretty much for the most part. And so it's really just been me trying to carry that ship along. So the YouTube content started to slow, but the Twitch content is what kept carrying on. And I mean, you guys know, like the grind when it comes to trying to make it, to quote unquote make it, and do this stuff full time. Because I mean, isn't that ultimately the goal for all of us to do what we love full time?
Of course.
Was taking forever. And to that point, I understand that consistency is a huge thing. I wasn't able to bring the consistency that is needed to be successful in the medium. So I was like, okay, I need to take my business sense of what I'm doing in my IRL, in my 9 to 5, and how can I apply that in a way that can allow me to transition into doing what I love full time. So it was just continue to, because I've got a family, I've got a wife, I've got my son, I've got my pup. So and I'm a very
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you. I'm a very family first person. So even when it comes to doing this type of content, which I absolutely love, it's my passion, always put my family first. And so that really was like hey, I'm not streaming tonight, or hey, I'm not making content tonight, because I just would rather hang out with my family, because that's just the way it is. So yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, I need to like, how can I morph in the business side of things to support that, and then just everything else will hopefully come along with it.
Very cool. So you mentioned that you technically got started back in like 2016.
Yeah.
You said it was initially supposed to be like a Rhett and Link sort of thing. Was
Mhm.
Rhett and Link kind of the inspiration for wanting to be like get into content creation, or what was the thing that kind of sparked that for you, where
Yeah.
you're like, hey, that's the thing I want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always wanted to work in the video game industry, but maybe it's just like I don't want to say limited, because my parents did what they could, but grew up in poverty, grew up in a very um, just didn't have a lot of options as far as like possibilities, and so I had a very traditional career path laid out in front of me, and working in the video game industry just seemed like this elusive thing that and didn't know it was possible. And of course, at that time, because I'm ancient, the the internet wasn't like a big deal. Like YouTube didn't explode until after I graduated high school, so that wasn't even an option.
Mhm.
It was very traditional media, and that was, I think, to give reference, like the titans of industry were One Up, Mega 64, Screw Attack, and IGN at the time was separated to its like separate sites. So you went to xbox.ign.com or playstation.ign.com. And that's how you got to look at that content. So to me as an onlooker, it was just like, holy crap, like that's unattainable. I don't know how they did it. But it was voodoo magic, and then it happened. So my career path was a very traditional thing. So that's what I was working for. And then around the time where I started BLE, that's when Greg and Nick and Tim and Colin had left IGN to form Kind of Funny. Now, obviously, at this point, YouTube has already run its course. It's mainstream for the most part. Like I said, Rhett and Link was a big inspiration as far as like the style of show. But it was seeing those four guys leave IGN, which to me, it was like, why would you leave the Holy Grail? To
Right.
see them go out and do something on their own, it was like, that's how you do it? You just do it? And that was like the light bulb moment of, well, shoot, I'll just do it. And I tried to follow suit and just pick three of my best friends, and maybe I should have vetted a little bit harder. No offense, guys, if you end up watching this or listening to this, but it's like I had the hard drive and passion, and I warned all of them. I'm like, listen, I'm a freight train, and I'm not going to stop. This is my passion, my focus, and it will never not be.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because
Yeah.
a few of us at Waypoint have all kind of had that conversation already, where
Mhm.
multiple
Literally
us
earlier
people are
tonight,
like,
Chris
hey,
and I
by
did.
the way, I'm going all in on this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm pushing into it. I really liked how to go back just a second and
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
on. I liked how you said it's like, oh well, this is how you do it. Is like you just do it. I did some homework before we got here, right? I went back and listened to your episode of the Up and Comer podcast with Josh Biddick,
Oh,
which
shoot,
if you haven't
okay.
listened to, absolutely go listen to that.
Shout out
listen
to
the other one,
Josh.
because all three of us are on it, and it's fabulous. And he's amazing. We love Josh Biddick here.
Yes.
But you had even brought up a point there too, to where it's, you can't sit around and wait for like that perfect moment to hit. It's like if you sit there and wait, it's like, well, I don't want to do it because of this thing, or I just don't feel like doing it yet because of this. It's like you're just not going to get to the point where you're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know about, I guess now we know about Asa. I don't know about you, Al, but that was the exact same moment that I had just a few months earlier this year, to where I was just like, well, what the hell? Why don't I just start? Like, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Honestly,
I
for
got
me,
fired from my job, and I was like, I have so much time now. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it.
yeah, it was, for me, this was more like in May. I just randomly one night, like, because I had friends on Twitter that streamed. Shout out to Joe Medforth. He's awesome. He's honestly the inspiration for me starting to stream, like, because he just was doing it. He got a capture card one day, and for me, I'm like, I'm just gonna start streaming from my PS4 just to see if I can actually stream with my internet. before I start investing in all this equipment. And it was just it was just a fun time. Like, I think I played like Deadpool. It was the first game I ever streamed. And yeah, it was just fun. Just, not too many people showed up, obviously, but Joe was actually one of the people that did show up, and it was just fun just chatting it up with people, just hanging out. And I literally took like a month break after that, but once I got my capture card in June, I've been streaming regularly since. So it's just one of those things that, like, it's just like you said, you just got to start. Like, my 2020 would be completely different if I never hit that go live button. I never would have met Chris. Like, never would have met the guys with Waypoint. Like, it was just crazy.
Me? You never would have met me?
Never would have met you. I'm getting the gaming legend. Exactly.
You bring up a good point. When you said, at the beginning it wasn't just you, but there wasn't a lot of people, but you had Joe in there, but you still just kept doing it. A friend of mine, he's a partnered streamer. His name's Gnarly Nate. He's awesome. You should go check him out. He said something that was super profound to me that always, like, it just is always stuck with me. Like, you need to, when you stream, if you take it seriously and you want to do it full time, you need to be the same exhilarating, hype, loved personality with 0 viewers as you are with 1,000 viewers. Always act like you've got the world at your fingertips and that everyone's watching, and you have to put on a show. Because otherwise you're going to have those lurkers or those people who are going to stop by because they just had clicked on you, and they're going to come into a stream where you're not talking, you're just staring at the screen playing the game, and they're like, well, this is boring, I'm out. And that was a game changer for me.
And that's something I think that's sort of like the make or break of somebody that's going to try and be a streamer too, because I mean it's disheartening when you look at your viewership and you're like, 2 people, cool, they're not talking at all. One of those views is you because you've got your phone up so you can, so you can look at chat, and it's hard to continue to be that positive side, at least for me, when you're like, nobody's interested. They were interested yesterday when I streamed, but yeah, it's like on the off chance that somebody new comes in and they see you just here playing games, not doing anything. That's gonna make a whole lot of difference as opposed to you coming in. And so I view that kind of like as the make or break moment, where it's like if you don't think you're capable of doing that, then it might not be the thing for you.
Right. And also keep in mind, like, if you end up hitting that affiliate status and you start getting VODs, you have to start thinking about like how many people are going to be watching this after the live button stops, and and people go and watch it after the fact. Like, I feel like, I mean, it always drives me nuts. No offense if you watch live, thank you so much. If you watch as a VOD, thank you so much. But like, I'll get like I probably average maybe around 10 while I'm live, but then as a VOD it gets like 40, 50, 60, 70 views, and I'm like, where were you?
I know.
When I was live? We could have been hanging out. But no, I just think like, holy crap, I hope that I was semi-entertaining if people they care that much to go back and watch this after the fact. Is another thing just to keep in mind there.
It's anxiety inducing though too, to where it's like you start seeing the views on those VODs climb up, and then I'm like, how did I do that episode? Like, what was I talking about? I don't remember.
And then you go back and rewatch your entire 2 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's the thing with
what I did that afternoon, sit there. I was like, I know it's a 5-hour stream, but I have to know.
But that's the thing with this new like Twitch update where they count live views on VODs now. So like, I noticed one of my recent streams had like half the views as like my other recent streams. I'm like, okay, so what happened here? Like, why did it was literally like my others were like a little over 100. This was like 50. I'm like, what happened here? Like, was everybody else just streaming?
I literally don't have an idea of how Twitch does VOD views anymore. Like, it's so
It is. It's like they count the live views when you were live. That's why they're so high, but then you just see the little view counter tick up every time you go look at the profile.
Interesting.
They're all over the place, man. It's the worst.
Yep.
So we have more people that are on Waypoint that are unable to be here tonight. And we had to prepare some questions for you if you're cool with a little like Q&A sort of thing.
Absolutely not.
Just rapid fire it. Yeah. All right, it's over. Thank you for watching, everyone. I appreciate you coming in. Longest episode yet. I don't know why.
You guys are off to a great start.
So I'm gonna hit you with this one. Is both from our boys Austin and Jordan, because they were both kind of the same question. But
Yeah.
what have you ever come across, like, what we consider an unexpected obstacle in content creation? Because like for me, it's like when I was getting started, I was like, cool. I tried to prepare for as much as possible. I studied a
Mhm.
bunch of other streamers and all this stuff. I was like, cool. I think I'm ready for just about anything. And then, did you still have something like come up anyway that you just weren't ready for?
Um, it's the stuff that I feel like I wasn't 100% ready for was stuff that happened off stream.
Mhm.
So just like life itself, because streaming is just like everything else in life. The more that you do it, the more that you work at it, the more stuff you're going to pick up on. Like I mentioned the thing that Gnarly Nate said. He said that maybe 1 year, and then a couple years later, I picked up something from Game Attack. I love the guys at Game Attack; they're fantastic. And
Out, yo.
yes, shout out to them. See you guys soon. But Sean Bourne, don't worry about it. Sean Bourne
What?
had said something. Shoot, what was it? Dang, it's gonna kill me because I'm literally talking about how it stuck with me. Now I can't remember it. Okay, so no. Oh, so for them it was somebody had asked in the chat, like, do you guys are playing like really old games? Like, why aren't you playing like the most recent games to try and stay like relevant? And they're like, screw relevancy. The most important thing to us is you, are the G1s, is the community. And that mindset of like that vote or die mindset, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like we care about you guys, and that's why we do it. Like we're not trying to get views, we're not trying to be the most up to date streamers. Like that was huge to me. So like literally as the years go on, you're going to get more pieces of information that are going to help you. So I can't really say that there was something that I prepped as much as I could and something didn't happen, or I came across an obstacle. It really truly is like, well, I got hit with depression, or my dog is sick, or hey, my wife is pregnant. We need to have a family night. Hey, my son is born. He's super fussy. Like it literally is just everything that happens outside in life that kind of like breaks up that schedule. So if anything, it's flexibility, if that helps at
Yeah.
all. Like that'd be the one hurdle that, because like I said, I want to be consistent. I
Mhm.
want to bring that consistency. I want to be live every single day, all day if I could, but life is life, man.
Bro, I can 100% identify with that, especially because I mean, it's
Same.
for posterity. We're recording this on the 23rd of November, and all of November for me has been really inconsistent on Twitch, just because I've had so many like different life things pop up. I had like this whole like themed month of games that I was gonna do that is not happening until December now, just because a bunch of other stuff like outside of Twitch happened. I've
Yeah.
maybe been able to go live like once or twice a week when I usually hit like 3 to 5, and it's kind of been all over the place,
Yes.
and kind of dealing with that feeling of like, what if people don't care when I get back because I was gone for so long, or
Mhm. Mhm.
just that general feeling. It was like I genuinely do want to be live, like just like every day, all day. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy it so much. Um, but it's like I still have to realize it's like I know people are still gonna be there. I just have
Yeah.
to get through it.
Mhm.
Dude, and that's where you have to take the words from the Game Attack guys.
Mhm.
It's if you've built that connection with your community, then you're perfectly fine. Because I can't tell you how many times it's like, okay, Monday night, shoot, I can't stream. I just need to have some downtime. Tuesday night, I got a meeting with Take This for like the other side of things, so I got to do some business stuff. And then Wednesday night, I can do a stream, but it's got to be done really quick because I got to start editing this video for this. And Thursday night, nope, can't. I got a meeting about other content creation things that we're doing. Friday night, nope, I'm trying to help guesting on somebody else's thing and just trying to help build up other people's. And it's like there's just literally stuff that's just going to happen all the time. And like you said, you try to have those days where or those weeks where you stream every single night. But if you've already built that connection with your community, you don't really need to worry about like, are they still going to be there? Because they love you. They know that you love them, and that they're going to be there. And I think that's like, I don't even care that I'm not hitting. Of course, I would like to hit that 20, 30, 40, 50. Like I would like to grow my live stream numbers, but that 10 average of people that are there every single time, I could not exist without those people. Like I cherish them so much. And it's especially in this day and age in 2020 in COVID where we can't see people. literally streaming and connecting with the Borderline family, which is our community. Oh my gosh, it's like a shot of like life juice to my veins every single freaking time.
100%, and
I was-
it's wild to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, speaking of the COVID thing, like that's I tested positive. I had COVID for a while, a while
Shoot.
back. I mean, it didn't affect me too much aside from one night, but I just took about a week and a half off of streaming, and for me, it sucked because I was just coughing constantly and all that, and I literally just didn't want to be streaming because I just wanted to rest.
Yeah.
But during that time is when I went through a major redesign of my stream. That's I took that week and a half that I wasn't actually streaming and content creating, and I revamped my entire stream layout.
Which bravo. I saw
Thank
the
you.
clip that you posted on Facebook of your test, and you're like
Mhm.
going through stuff, and I'm like, this boy's looking fresh and sexy, and I love it.
Man, he did
Oh
all
See-
my
that work
gosh.
while he was bedridden with COVID.
Look
Not bedridden, chair ridden, because I
Chair-ridden,
couldn't
like,
do
yeah.
anything.
Look at your fidelity, Al, and look at I've got this little Logitech. What is this? The C920.
C920?
I don't know.
You probably got
Yeah,
the same one as me. Does yours do that when you put your hand up to it? Because mine
Yeah, let me see. I
Ooh, nice
did some
focus.
settings. I watched a tutorial, so I did some things to make it a little bit better. But I'm like, dude, look what you've got. You look so freaking
Well,
good.
This
It looks
is
so
NVIDIA
freaking
Broadcast. It's the blur
I don't-
effect on NVIDIA Broadcast. So as long as you have an RTX card,
Oh.
graphics card, you can download and add a blur effect. It's
Well,
literally just
I
a
didn't
cheap
know
webcam.
that. I've got an RTX card right here.
Yeah, yeah, and
I don't have time to
Google
research these things.
Google
Bro,
NVIDIA
what-
Broadcast when you're done.
I also have an RTX card, and I came across this some driver bullshit where I mean, it's like my thing's fully updated. Like she's brand new. I made her earlier this year. Like she should be fine. I got it downloaded. I was ready to install, and NVIDIA goes nah, and I can't figure out why because PCs are the worst.
Agreed.
God, I hate it so much.
That's why I'm like Tim on kind of funny games daily today said I'm scared for Cyberpunk on PC.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna melt my PC, dude. Like, I might have to do that one on PlayStation. It's gonna be too much.
I would,
I think
but
that's when
next
you really need to
gen-
just like start low and inch your way up.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because like according to that chart, because I got the 2070 Super, and all my other stats and specs and stuff match up pretty good with the ultra settings without ray tracing. But the 2070 Super is what's kind of holding me back.
Okay.
And this is a PC that I bought earlier this year. I did the NZXT streamer PC. I got that pre-built.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah. And of course, I'm like, I'll buy this PC this summer, not thinking, hey, graphics cards are coming out this fall. Not wait that extra couple months. And
Yeah, but they were so hard to get. You were better off just doing it then.
yeah, honestly, and because at that point too, I was just my laptop was just bottlenecking the streams. Like my Stinger transition was like struggling.
Dude, that was literally me too. I was streaming off of my laptop, and my Stinger would go, and then it would just be gone. So I'm like, yeah, I need a new one. Let's build this bad boy.
Because that laptop was from like 2016 that I had that. So I mean, it was a beast back then, but I literally was not using it for games at all because it had like an 870 in it.
Yeah,
It was a glorified Chromebook at that point.
Oh my god.
It was this huge, hefty MSI 17-inch laptop.
You can run Google Docs and Chrome on that sucker, man.
Basically, yeah. Because I used that for architecture school back when I was in college, and yeah, that was. I mean, like I said, it did work back then, but games nowadays are just
they're way
tears
too
it.
powerful.
It's too much.
Yeah.
So
Now, speaking-
something else I wanted to ask you, Asa.
Yeah, go for it.
Because this is something that I have an issue with too. It was again something that I'd heard you bring up on the Up and Cover podcast, but you kind of mentioned like talking over with your wife kind of being your sounding board because you just constantly feel like you have too many ideas to deal with and
Oh yeah.
your attention kind of gets like misdirected because you want to do all these different things and then realizing that stuff will suffer if you don't do that. And I do the same to my wife. I bounce stuff off her all the time, but I still feel like I've
I'm sorry.
constantly got. He says I'm sorry. And it's like I feel like I'm constantly sitting on a bunch of ideas that just really aren't going anywhere. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that as well. I mean, it's like, how do you
I've
kind of
got
work
a
through that or
Google
deal with
Doc that's just like, yep.
We've got a big thick one for Waypoint too of everybody just like shouting out all this stuff, and I keep looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, there's so much.
Yeah, you're like, guys, you need
Just
to
a
stop.
whole
Just
Discord channel full.
But it's like, how do you kind of work through that? I mean, I'm assuming you realize this, like, I'm just not going to be able to get to everything. But I mean, what's the process does that look like?
Yeah. So, if you would have asked me this like a year, maybe 2 years ago, it would have been, screw you. No, I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to do it all as worse as I can. But it really was my wife, not just being the sounding board, but being like the voice of reason of like, no, I know you want to do this. So I'm telling you, you need to just pick one, maybe two things. And usually she would just say one, but it was like, I know that you can't slow down, Asa, so maybe two. Like pick those things and then just work on those. And then that's it. That way you can provide quality, you can provide consistency. And I listened a little bit. I started doing 3 things, and then it turned into 4. But no, like how I deal with it now, because I've been blessed enough to reach out to a few people that I'm like, hey, you are incredibly talented. I would love to have you under my banner. You have full creative freedom. You are doing your thing. There's no pressure, but this is something that I want to do that I can't do, and I would love to help support you do that as a part of BLE. And so that's the route for some things. And then for other things, it's literally just putting it on the I'll get to it when I get to it, and really having to sit down and reason with myself that it's not going to happen right now, but it will happen. I have not out of my list. Let me see if I can, how fast my PC will pull it up. Because I've got a list about maybe 50 items long.
Okay.
Impressive.
All right.
Yep. Hold on. It pulled up really fast, but now there's like so many Google Docs that I can't find it. Wait, no, here it is. Yeah, I'm not going to count them all, but roughly there's like probably 30 or 40 ideas here. And that's like podcasts, stream topics, discussions, written stuff. Like there's literally like there's just so many things, and they come at, because I'm a marketing person, some of them come at different angles, and they're combined and they're stringed together to help the whole SEO thingy there. But so it's literally like I'll put, all right, this is a working title. This is a concept idea. This is in production. This is in progress. This is in post. This is on hiatus. Like putting those tags on there, weirdly enough, helped me so much. So like, for example, there was a show, I believe I stopped in early 2019, called Wednesday Wrap Up, rebranded as The Wrap Up. It is a weekly, just entertainment news show that's very, there's like an ESPN show where they do like 4 topics, and they do like the ups and the lefts and the right and the downs arrows. But anyways, it was inspired by that. But I had to put hiatus on that because I had to drop that because I was picking game chat back up because it was on ice for forever.
Nice.
So I put so much work into the wrap up, I can't just let it go forever. So putting hiatus on there, weirdly enough, is like, okay, I know it'll be back. And I know when it comes back, it'll be better than ever because it's going to have actual time devoted to it for it to be a quality product. So
now, speaking
again, go for it.
I was just going to say, speaking of game chat, I just wanted to say all those transitions, man, are so clean.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you talking about the stringers, or are you talking about like when I go from
the
topic
stingers
to topic?
or topic?
Oh, yeah.
Topic. Yeah, topic.
Okay.
Those are
thank
awesome.
you. That was that was a lot of work. And you can, if you listen or watch earlier episodes, which starting to, they were live on Twitch, but now they're starting to go out on YouTube for people to watch now. It's wild to watch. So Zombie Kills, her episode's going up tomorrow. Again, this is November 23rd, so it'll be up November 24th. I listened to that one after just doing, like, I just think off the top of my head, like Craig Skistimus, I think he was like episode 10 maybe, and she was episode 4. Just seeing the evolution of game chat from start to end, like that's another thing, is like realizing that first of all you need to just do it, but also know that it's going to get better over time. You are going to iron out those kinks. It's going to get from a janky production to a fluid production. So thank you.
Yeah.
Long-winded way to say thank you.
Now,
Yeah, man, production quality on that is clean.
I was just gonna kind of bouncing off of that. Something I always, I'm more kind of really into tech and all that. So, what programs do you use for like your editing, your like designing your stream assets and that kind of thing?
Literally I feel like it's every single program under the sun. So just talking about Adobe Creative Cloud, Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop a little bit. This is going to sound really weird, but there is and I highly recommend, if you can't afford Adobe Creative Cloud, use this web-based program. It's called Pixlr. It's essentially Photoshop Lite, but that is so user-friendly that sometimes, even though I've got Creative Cloud on here, I'm like, let's just use Pixlr. It's so much faster. It's so much easier at times. Yeah.
See, because I'm struggling with what's that free one? It starts with the G, I think. I have it on my computer. I am like, it's like Gilf or something like that. No, it's not that. It's like GI something. It's really bugging me now.
So I use those ones.
GIMP.
GIMP. Ugh, I don't like that name.
It's a free one though, but like you were saying, like Pixlr, it's so user friendly. GIMP is not. It's like I know how to do this in Photoshop.
Oh, yes. GIMP is old. GIMP has been around for a while. I used to use this in high school.
Yeah, it's a free Photoshop basically, but it is. You'd think they would learn from Adobe and make it like similar. It's like I know how to do this in Photoshop because I had a student license way back when in college.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm like in GIMP because like I saw how much Creative Cloud is. I'm not making that much money on Twitch yet.
It is no.
So I'm like I've got GIMP and I'm using DaVinci Resolve for video editing.
Oh, okay.
Editing. I literally just downloaded that a few weeks ago, so I'm still very new to DaVinci Resolve. So leave some tips down in the comments if you got them.
Yeah, and then also like with video editing, like I use Premiere sometimes, but sometimes if I just need to do like a quick edit, no joke, iMovie. I will use iMovie, and I will. It's kind of like, look at me. I'm Naughty Dog. Okay. I am going to squeeze every last bit of juice out of that PS3 and give you The Last of Us. So I'm going to take iMovie and do everything I freaking can. So I don't have to. Now I cleaned up, I defragged my PCs or my Mac. So Creative Cloud doesn't slow down too much, but that was the issue that I was just running into with Premiere. Is that it was just running too slow for my liking at times. So I'm like, I can't shut it down, pop it in iMovie really quick. Yes, I'm missing some features, but I'll make it work. As far as like, what's that?
Some features. I mean, like a lot of
features. Yes. Okay, I'll get it to its base form in iMovie and then transfer it over to Premiere and then just do like some fine tuning stuff. But so like I'll do a lot in After Effects and then just like, import that stuff over. I use Canva. I know.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I recognize a lot of people using Canva. Something that I use for marketing when creating like social media and digital assets for some of my clients there. And I'm like, this is perfect. And I've had to use it so much for work that I know the ins and outs. I do have Canva Pro now, so there's a few more things that I can access that aren't like in the base free version, but still, the base free version is great. Although I will say, if anybody uses Canva, I can pick it up in a heartbeat. If I see a thumbnail, if I see anything, like you can do some things where you can like make it not look like a basic Canva thing. It's not like you guys or anything like that. I think more particular Tumbleweed. I don't know if you guys know the restaurant Tumbleweed.
Yeah, not familiar.
So they will do their promotions in Canva.
That's
and
awesome.
you can tell because basically they won't put effort into it. They'll pick like the basic circle shapes, the basic fonts, throw on a background image, type, done. I'm like, you're not gonna do any blurs. You're not gonna do like any fade. Like, no. Okay,
Right.
all right.
No, that would be
What are you
work.
doing? I know,
No,
right? Yeah. So
I've used Placeit a little bit for a couple things, like
yeah, place is
you-
not bad.
for free stuff. Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and maybe I shouldn't be up here any longer. I don't know what Canva is.
So Canva, listen, the only reason I knew what Canva was when I started working at the marketing firm that I'm at now. So I had no idea what it was until someone said, "Hey, this is what we use." So I'm like, "Oh, right." So, but definitely check it out. It's great for pretty much everything now. They've really made it a pretty robust platform. So social media posts, thumbnails for any type size. You can resize things. You can do transparents now. You can delete backgrounds. You can do like a lot of my stingers. I'll start them on Canva and then switch them over to After Effects and do the rest of it there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. No, I'm going to write that down actually.
it's dope.
Where'd the paper go?
Yeah. And I'll Placeit. I've saw a YouTube video on that, and they've actually started doing like some gaming, like stuff for Twitch and YouTube. So got some basic stuff on there for
Important notes.
Yeah, got important notes. Yeah. So like I took a video from there, edited it myself, and made like a GIF of going live on Twitch. Just kind of modified that enough, and yeah. So like there's stuff on there that's really good for beginner content creators.
Oh, absolutely. And there's even like, if you can't do it yourself, there's literally no shame, because there are creators who are doing this stuff for a living and they need your support. Go to, what is it, like
Fiverr.
Yeah, Fiverr, and there's a few other ones. Like, there are people that will make you stingers. Give them requests and they'll do it. Don't shame yourself. Don't let anybody shame you, because they need to earn a living too, and that's literally what they're trying to do. So let them make you stuff.
And same thing goes for just about anything else that you're just
Emotes.
not familiar with doing. Like Philip J. Woodward does all of my emotes. He's done my
Oh,
t-shirts.
sick.
Chance Carter is doing the animated intro to this episode. Like it's like we
New
outsource
intro
everything.
too.
I outsource everything that I just don't know how to do, and
Yep.
it's like,
Yeah.
money, because they want to get paid too.
Mhm.
But there's no shame in that, honestly.
No, no.
And I also, it's like, even if I knew how to do that sort of stuff and somebody else is like, "Hey, I can do this thing," it's like, cool, you could probably do it better than I can.
Yep. I'm literally thinking, hey, do you guys want to do some of that stuff for me? Because I made some of it myself and it doesn't look good, and I know you could do better.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't let anyone ever shame you for outsourcing your assets or anything like that, man. Like, make your product the best it can be, however you can.
Yeah.
Artists are people
Absolutely.
too.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, feed your local artist. So to swing it back around, I've got another question from the Waypoint press pool here. This comes from Josh, aka some other Josh, who just wants to know, how has COVID impacted your content creation and creative process, and do you have any projects that you want to get into, like post COVID, should that ever come around?
Yeah. First, how has COVID impacted things? Man, I don't feel like COVID has positively impacted in the way that I've seen it impact so many other people. Like, that has been probably one of the biggest things that I've seen come out of it, is like, so many people were able to start podcasts, to start streaming. And it's like, hey, you've given me this opportunity. I've got furloughed or whatever. Now I've got the time to like pursue my passion. I'm like, I'm very thankful that I still have my job. Don't get me wrong if you're listening
Same.
and you work at my company, but man, I wish I had that opportunity to like, I don't have a job. I'm just going to dump my entire self into this. I didn't know that was not the case for me, because I've been working from home this entire time. So nothing by that way, but once COVID ends, I don't want to get into too many projects that we're working on, just because I don't want to put pressure on them to like, get it out now. But just being able to be in a physical space with other people is a big thing. Traveling to conferences, conventions, things like that, like doing stuff on site. I miss doing that stuff. Like, there was a convention that was here in Columbus called GDEX. It was all about indie games, and I miss it. Like, I was actively a part of it for like 4 or 5 years, and then this year they just had to do online, so it was weird to not go to GDEX.
Oh my god, we might have like seen each other at one point and not realized it.
Probably.
Like I
Probably.
went 17 and 18.
Yeah. I was there those times.
Yeah.
And then like I even think like Extra Life. I was not able to do Extra Life this year because like we have our son, so it's like now I have to be able to help because we can't have a babysitter. And it super sucks because I had everything scheduled out and planned for Extra Life 2020. We had a local venue that was going to rent out a space to us. It was going to be this whole thing where we could all, because literally every year for Extra Life, everybody would come over to my house. Well, I was like, hey guys, I got a kid now. We can't do that. So pulled some strings, flipped some switches, and we were going to have an amazing venue. Then COVID happened. So it all got hosed. So I'm really excited in 2021, as long as there's people wear their masks, they do the right stuff, we get a vaccine, to do that. I'm for the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. For those enormous,
It's big, beautiful kids.
yeah,
Now,
which is still one of my favorite like running jokes ever.
yeah,
Yep,
for sure.
Enormous, gigantic children.
Now, going on, kind of continuing a more, I guess, serious topic. You recently put out a video growing up Indigenous.
Yeah.
Great video, by the way.
Thank you.
I know we have a couple questions again from all of us at Waypoint.
Yeah.
What are some, like, this one's from Jordan, aka Jordan Deeb _Deeb, and he asks, what are some simple steps that companies can take to better portray Native Americans in media?
Man, simple steps. First of all, stop the culture appropriation. Stop using tribe. Stop using powwow. Trying to, like, there are just so many terms that people use in their everyday. It's the spirit animal. Like, stop using that stuff. Get rid of iconography of like headdresses or like arrowheads, teepees. Pull all that stuff out. And honestly, each corporation, if you don't have it already, you need to have some sort of diversity council or a chairman of diversity or a director of diversity to be that filter. But also do things like I don't mean to plug it, but like just being on KFGD, like to have a native voice on there to talk about it. And I just saw today that Bungie just had somebody out talking to their people about Native American history, Native American culture. I'm like, that's freaking huge. Do stuff like that. Because first of all, you know, all cultures that are you know, often overlooked, they all need their time to shine. But and I hate to do this like comparison. I'm trying to like talk very carefully because I respect it and love all people, and I don't want them to think that I'm saying that they don't matter. But just in my personal experience from what I have witnessed, in my own opinion, Native Americans super get the shaft all the time, mainly in the way that they're just forgotten. Like they're literally just not even thought of. Like you will see everybody and their brother fight for so many other groups of people, as they should. But there just aren't enough people fighting on behalf of Native Americans because I don't know why. You know, I don't know why they choose not to, but it's just something that people don't think about. And that's something that, you know, I talked about extensively in growing up Indigenous.
Yeah, I know you and your sister ended that video talking about how us as white people needed to do more. What things can we do to help out?
Really, it's a lot like in the heat of June when, you know, Black Lives Matter was like, I don't want to say at its peak because it should always be at its peak, but I think that was at its peak sensitive. And really the thing there was like, just ask, listen. If you feel like you're going to say something that might be inappropriate or might rub people the wrong way, like check in with somebody, ask how people are doing. Just take that extra step that you would want somebody to do for you, but you don't need to because you unfortunately have been given privilege that you didn't ask for. Yeah, so like I would say that everything that applied then also applies to Native American culture, to Native American indigenous people. Like literally just ask. I think I saw one comment off the top of my head, and I feel like I saw it a few times, like on Twitter, like people saying, like, you know, thank you for being on there. Hey, how do you feel about the word Indian? Like, how do you feel? Like, or do you want me to use indigenous, or do you want me to use Native American or American Indian? It's like a lot of people take it a lot of different ways. My dad, who is a very I want to say a very orthodox Native American. I don't know if that even makes sense, but he still uses Indian because that's what he grew up with. And so he grew up in that, I don't want to say depression era because he did not grow up in the 20s, but he grew up in that time where it was like that colonization was just like forced on you. Like, you are an Indian, like, and that was it. And obviously we've come a long way now. And I remember growing up, like, I hated it. I'm like, I'm not from India.
Yeah.
I love Indian people. They're great, but that's not me. So, and even then, like, I would harp like it's Native American. But then as the years went on, it was like people preferred First Nations, and then people preferred indigenous. So really, like, for me, if you're going to ask me what I am, if you're going to ask me ethnicity or what I prefer, literally anything that is not Indian, that's just me. But yes, just ask. Just have that mindful, that thoughtfulness to reach out and to inquire.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
In a similar vein, then this another question that comes from some other Josh who wants to ask. And I mean, I know you said just a second ago, it's like I kind of don't want to plug KFGD, but I'm gonna ask you to plug some stuff here. Is like, are there any administrators that you like or that would recommend to people?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, are there other like any indigenous creators that you like or would recommend? You can say yourself. That's allowed.
Yeah, I mean, I always want people to check me out, not to be that like selfish some be, but like I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. But no, I feel criminal that I don't have names off the top of my head except for Baron J. Dude, bro, Baron J, you have been one of the best people that I've met during this time. He reached out to me. He's half Native American. Hopefully, I'm not putting him on this spot. I'm so sorry, man. But no, I put out when I put out that tweet, I was like, hey, you just don't see Native American like streamers or content creators a whole lot. Like, they're just not advertised. And so I was like, please tag them. I want to meet these people. And so I've started to meet more over time. They're out there. I will come up with some sort of list. I apologize, but Baron J, just off the top of my head, he's a writer at Level 1 Games. He's also going to be on the follow-up conversation to Growing Up Indigenous next week. But yeah, he's class act guy.
Go check that out. Then follow up to Growing Up Indigenous, baby. It's gonna be litty.
Yep, that'll be if I can plug that before I forget. I thought I put up a tweet this afternoon. It might just be in my drafts. I don't know. But so it's it's going to be called Living Indigenous, and it is a panel of Native American and Indigenous people from across the video game industry. I'm just going to be hosting the panel because I talked enough last time. So it's going to be all about them. So we've got Baron J from Level 1 Gaming. We've got a handful of other people that I'm going to put it out then. I'm not saying that I don't want to give you guys that like big release press information thing, but I'm going to put it out there the appropriate way with all the other names that I think we have.
That's all good.
5 people, and then myself. So 6 people on there. And then from all over the place, we have a voice actor, a streamer, a game dev, community manager, and a writer. Yep. And then me. Just
That's
a
awesome.
Schlub guy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was a good watch last night.
We're also just big Green River fans around here, though. You know, it's just.
Oh my gosh, my heart! Oh my word!
Now,
I've never heard anybody say that. Thank you.
Now,
gosh.
Before I forget, is there any significance behind your screen name Green River?
Green River is my last name.
Okay.
So okay. Is your answer no?
Yeah, I mean it's like it's not super. There's no like cool tale, but I mean, it's my name.
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, that's what Albob is. It was like a nickname my cousin gave me when I was young. Literally, my first name and last name squished together.
I have part of my last name in mine. Funny enough, so mine is RumblePack92. Was born in '92. My last name is Lepack, L-A-P-A-C-K, and So my dad plays games a lot too. I
so cool.
credit him
That's awesome.
a lot with giving me this obsession. Kind of took over my life. I don't think he was ready for it. And it just kind of became like a family tradition to have like Pac somewhere in all of our like usernames or whatever, right? My dad took Pac-Man though. Which was,
Oh
not
man.
I feel like so. My dad took Pac-Man, and when I finally had like my own like, I think it was the 360 was the first time that I put my own like personal like username together. I was sitting there and I was like, well, I can't use my dad's gamer tag anymore. I got to come up with something. This is me and my own. And I immediately thought about it. I was like, well, what's cool that has the word Pac in it? Because I can't think of anything. I thought back to the N64 Rumble Pack.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is just PAK, so I cheated a little bit. But I was like, yes, that's perfect. That
Game
was like my
changer.
first console. Yeah, dude. It came packaged in with Star Fox 64, right? And it was just the coolest
Yeah,
thing.
it did.
Loved it. So that's where that came from. It's kind of dumb.
Dude, that's not dumb at all. Are you kidding
That's
me?
awesome.
It's the N64, and then
Dope hype emote.
yeah, Phil made a really really cool hype emote where he took the Super Mario 64 font and put that on top of a Rumble Pack, and the words like hype on it, and that's like my emote on Twitch.
That's amazing.
It's so
That is
dope.
amazing.
And Robert Hyland recently just photoshopped a photo of me, except he just took an N64 Rumble Pack and put it over my face. So that's my profile
It's
picture
great.
on Twitter.
It's great.
Dude, my hype emote is I took. Do you know the like Pepega, the like green frog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I took the green frog and then I took Peppa Pig, and then I mashed them together and did Pepega, and then I put like a gold chain necklace on her and it says hype. So it's just the Pepega hype.
That is awesome.
Oh my god. Where the hell did you get that from?
Listen, somebody was asking because I was like, oh hey everybody, what kind of emotes do you want? And they're like, oh, I want a Pepega or whoever. And I'm like, wait, who is that? So I looked it up. Well, I spelled it wrong and I got Peppa Pig. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do a Peppa Pig. And I was like, no, I need to figure out who this is. So I looked it up and I got that creepy looking frog. And I went, I got an idea.
Mhm.
I'm going to put these together. I'm going to Frankenstein this thing.
The switch flipped. It's just that
Yeah.
I can almost see like the camera like zooming out, like I've got it.
I've got it.
Like the brain blast I had on This Is the Waypoint.
Brain blast.
I legit like it was. We were talking about things, and it was just like something unlocked in my head, and it's like
I'll call the Matrix for a second. You know,
I literally did. It was
Man,
crazy.
I wish I could see the Matrix every day of my life.
it only happens to me, and I'm bringing this up specifically because I can see a GameCube in your backdrop. There is usually when I'm playing Melee. There are occasional times where you just stop thinking and you just shit on somebody for a minute, and you're like, I don't know how I did that. Like, I don't know what happened.
That is literally the best feeling. Like you go 30-0 in any shooter at all, and you're like, whoa, what just
Yeah.
I know Kung Fu. Like it's that kind of moment.
Oh yeah, it's when it's like I can't believe I just did that, and then become aware that you did that, and you played way worse the next round.
Mhm.
Like,
Now-
oh, it's gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now, while we're on the topic of games, just before we end, what was it? I think it was Josh that had this question.
I think both Josh and Jordan had a similar kind of question.
Okay. Oh no, this is Jordan. For kind of a lighter question to end it on, what's your 2020 game of the year so far?
Okay, so I did a thing with Ro, and he did thank you games. That's his thing, and I said Valorant, and then Greg asked me, and I said Valorant. Well, then I was feeling triggered by Janet Garcia, who said, "All right, fine, I'm gonna download Hades," and I went, I can't be the last person on the planet who's not played Hades. So thanks a lot, Janet. So thanks, Janet. I went and downloaded Hades. Holy crap!
It's so good.
Oh, good.
It's so good.
I already liked Supergiant. I've played all their games except for Pyre.
Should play Fire.
Why did I sleep on Hades?
Why?
I was up until like 2 a.m. last night. Just like I cannot. I don't know what it is.
Bro,
I'm
Well, because
thinking about it right now. I'm like, guys, can we like
Greek
I want to play some Hades?
Greek mythology is just great by itself.
Yes, it is.
So then you just add that onto a great game, like
Well, and I'm reading, there's that new anime on Netflix. I'm really itching to watch that. I'm reading Lore Olympus on a webtoon. So like I'm in that Greek mythology mode already.
It was kind of the perfect
Mhm.
storm for you.
It was like the perfect storm. And it's like, I love roguelike games, but this is probably the best roguelike that I've ever played.
Yeah.
I hard agree.
Sorry, Rogue
Yeah.
Legacy.
Hard agree.
And Rogue Legacy is so good, but
Yeah.
this is so much better.
Oh yeah.
And I think what does it though is just how well they integrate the mechanics of the game into the story itself.
Yes.
Like it's all
Yes.
so well blended. I mean, the fact that it is a roguelite and things are random every time you go through, and that dying and coming back and trying again is literally the point of the story arc. Like that's
Mhm.
the
Yes.
everything is based around that,
Yes.
and from there it's not just a game mechanic. It's like, oh, I died and now I have to start over. It's baked into the entire thing so
Yeah.
well.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
And
oh
then
my gosh, it's so good. The
and then
music,
just some incredible
Oh
dialogue.
yeah.
the dialogue, the voice acting. You can't even talk about the art direction because the art direction is flawless.
Yes. Exactly.
The only critique that I have about it is that occasionally I would like to, like, as you start picking things up, especially when you go into the little, I'm fresh, so I don't remember all
Yep.
the names. There's the glass little closet where you're picking your weapons and you can like wear things, put them on, and they give you different little effects.
Oh yeah.
I want to
Yep,
be able
yep.
to see those because I'm a cosmetic whore. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Like
Oh god.
any
Nice.
game where I can spend hours customizing my person and like really giving them that like top tier horny energy, I want to be a good looking dude. So like I wish that I could at least when I'm putting it on, maybe like the Sims where like Zagreus, shoot, what's his name now? I just call him Zags.
Zagreus.
But
Zagreus.
yeah, Zagreus.
nailed
Zags is standing off to the side as I'm putting stuff on and I can see it on him. Like I don't need to see it when I'm playing. I just want to see like that physical or like that visual change and then that's
Right.
it.
That was actually the biggest problem that I had with Avengers, is that outside of costumes, like all of the gear and stuff that you put on, there's no visual
Nothing.
indication of any
Nope.
of it.
I can't
Uh-oh.
listen. When it comes to Avengers, I have to not think about the issues that I have with it and just remember that I love comic books, Marvel.
It
That
hurts.
universe is my favorite, and I just
Mhm.
enjoy that I'm playing as these characters, and I don't think about anything else.
Story in the game was alright. It was good.
I
Story
don't
of the game
think
is
about the grinding. Yes, the story is good. The
And I
process of
bounced
getting
after that.
through it sometimes is rough. Yes, and that's it. That is it. I don't think about the fact that I can't see the stuff that I'm picking up. I don't think about that it's
Mhm.
sometimes the difficulty is all over the place.
It's so wild.
You
And those last couple of missions, brutal.
Oh yeah.
does not make any sense how I have the appropriate power level for the mission. I can go through 90% of it and I'm perfectly fine, but in that last 10%, it's like someone switched it to hard
Yeah.
for no
Oh, yeah.
apparent reason.
It was
So,
ridiculous.
yeah. But Avengers,
I'll pivot real fast then, because
Pivot.
unlike anyone else here at Waypoint, you said Valorant, and I love you for that. Oh my god.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to play Valorant sometime?
Dude, I'm literally always looking for people to play Valorant with.
Excellent. I'm dying to play again. I got a group of buddies. We all play together already. It's weird to say because it's been a stellar year for video games, but it is, I
Yeah.
think, like one of the best video games of the year. It's so
Hands down.
well made, and the art direction is incredible. And I don't really
Mhm.
like Riot's games all that much. I'm not a big League of Legends fan.
I'm not either. But this
Runeterra I
like
thought was fun, but dude,
mm,
Valorant
yeah.
hit. It's that perfect cross of like Counter Strike and Overwatch, and just
Yes, 100%. The Counter-Strike aspect was what really brings me in because I said this before and I think it was in the post show, so there's no way for people to hear it. The thing about Overwatch, and I love Overwatch, but you can't just play any character and feel comfortable in trying to get to know them because the way that they attack is so
Mhm.
vastly different across the board. But with Valorant, literally all the guns are the same.
Mhm.
That doesn't bother me. I can put on different skins and it kind of feels different, but it's the depth with their powers that adds the depth,
Mhm.
that is just, it's genius. It is so genius because you've got the simplicity, you've got the hardcore nature, you've got the competitive nature of CS:GO, and then you have the personality and just all of the charm of Overwatch. And
Yeah.
it is the perfect meld.
It's brilliant. We were just discussing a minute over art direction. The art direction of Valorant is incredible, man.
It's
There's something
top notch.
about it that just hits me, man. It's a lot of the gun skins, especially, just look so nice. Oh,
And the voice
God.
acting is great too.
Oh yeah.
I don't get annoyed with it.
No, to the point where like the group of friends that I play with, I mean, we all kind of have like the characters that we all pick at this point, right? The heroes that we choose, and now occasionally, just in regular conversation, we'll just spout off one or two of our characters' lines at each other. I'll be playing other games. I'll be like, "Triple baby," and like I'm like, "Oh no, I played too much."
Who do you bounce between?
I'm a Phoenix main mostly.
Okay, yep.
And I'm trying to learn Jet. Like this
Okay.
is where I'm at right now. Jet's hard.
Yeah, I'm a Phoenix main as well, and then I ended up picking up Sky
Nice.
and really pushed intentionally to learn her, and she's just I can switch between the two now. So because a lot of people take Phoenix, and I'm like, no problem, I'll take Sky.
Yeah.
Fine.
The other one I played also, the first one I started playing was actually Sage. And then
Okay.
I picked up Phoenix because I was like, I want to try out a more aggressive character. And say Phoenix kind of has like these, like, he's got some area denial stuff at the wall and the flashes, but he's also, he's an attacker class or whatever you want to.
Right. Oh yeah.
So he's kind of one foot on each side, which works for me because I can't commit.
That's good. That's good.
So awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for being here on for the inaugural episode of The Grind. We're so happy.
Appreciate it, dude.
Dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know that you've got a lot of great stuff ahead, and I can't wait to watch and just to be a viewer and a listener. But if you ever want me back, just let me know, and we'll make it happen.
Welcome anytime, man. Welcome anytime. Asa, dude, where can we find you, man?
So you can find me personally at agreenriver07 on Twitter. I feel like I have to reiterate. I don't even know why I mentioned it on a platform as large. It's kind of funny, but when it comes to Instagram, that's a little bit more private for me. So unless like I know you personally, even if you're a kind of funny best friend, like unless I know you personally, I probably won't. So if you have tried to add me and there are people out there and I have declined it, it is not personal. Well, it is personal. It's not personal against you. It's my personal. So Twitter is the best way to connect with me. And then if you could, please, I implore you, Borderline Entertainment on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There you can go to Instagram. And then YouTube and Twitch as well. So yeah.
Those links will be in the description.
Yeah, we'll have everything there. Now, of course, to everybody else, thank you so much for watching. We love you. We're gonna see you next time.
Bye.
Ooh.